Hi besties, how's it going? Lately I've been lurking on Reddit and reading some K-pop opinions here and there, and let me tell you, some people are really delusional and they just be saying whatever, so I kinda wanted to respond to some of those opinions because why not? I obviously don't mean to offend any of the people who wrote these opinions, so if I happen to disagree with what they say, it doesn't mean I have anything against them, but anyway, let's begin. The first opinion states, Liz from IVE should re-debut as a soloist or in a different group. I personally think this is one of the most ridiculous opinions I've ever seen on Reddit, cause why the hell would Liz leave one of the biggest girl groups in K-pop to start fresh as a soloist or in another group? People always make it sound so easy, but the truth is that becoming successful is pretty hard, especially if you're a soloist, so it would be absolutely crazy for her to leave IVE just because of the line distribution. Liz is literally one of my ults, so of course I would like for her to have more lines in songs like Kitsch and After Like, but if you try to paint her as some kind of mistreated member who never gets to sing, then this just tells me you don't even keep up with her. Liz actually gets a pretty decent amount of lines most of the time, especially in the B-sides. What's sad is that she usually tends to have less lines in the title tracks, but trying to paint her as the token mistreated member will not do her any good. Instead of talking nonsense and saying she should go solo, I feel like you all should start actually supporting her solo schedules first. You all should hype up her content instead of pity-standing her, because that won't change anything. Next opinion, Cupid charting is overblown. This opinion literally starts off by saying that charting on Billboard is pretty easy these days, and my question is, then how come we don't see that many groups doing that? How come we don't see dozens of K-pop groups making it into the chart? But also, we should really stop and think about 50/50 for a second. They're a brand new group under an unknown agency. They are not from a big or medium-sized company. They didn't have any famous member. They didn't have any famous senior. Nothing at all. So I'm sorry, but what they've accomplished is pretty fucking impressive. Of course, at the end of the day it's just because people enjoyed the song and it blew up. But let's stop diminishing underrated groups' achievements. If a group from a bigger company achieved what they achieved, I bet you all wouldn't discredit them. Then of course, just because Cupid did so well, it doesn't mean that 50/50 is gonna become the biggest group in 4th gen. Absolutely not. But can we please just admit that they've done something impressive without making it seem as if it was something that happens every day? I like filler members. To be honest, I find myself agreeing with this opinion 100%, even if it might sound crazy, but I mean, we all know that K-pop is not just about talent, and I always get reminded of this whenever I see K-pop stans complaining about the fact that a group seems boring on variety shows, or when they say they cannot get into a group because they don't like the dynamics between the members. If K-pop was just about talent, you all wouldn't care about them not being entertaining enough for your taste. Let's also not forget about how some of you are so obsessed with looks and will literally care about their appearance more than you care about their skills. So of course filler members are needed. Every group needs skilled members, but every group also needs someone funny for variety shows, someone extremely beautiful to catch people's attention, etc. Next opinion, Isa contributed nothing to IVE and she would have been better off debuting in the next girl group. On one hand, I can see where this person is coming from. Isa is very young and it makes sense thinking that if she debuted later she would have had more time to improve, but you're just making it sound as if Starship debuted new groups each year when that's not true. If Starship waited to debut her in their new group, it's possible that she would have had to wait something like 5 years if not more, considering the company is most likely gonna debut a boy group before debuting another girl group. So Isa would have ended up debuting in her 20s, and you know how a lot of people think you're way too old to debut at that age, which is pathetic, but it's a sad reality. Anyway, I also think that even if there are aspects Isa has to improve, saying she contributes nothing to IVE is untrue. It seems like people keep forgetting she's literally part of the dance line and she's the best dancer after Gahul and Yujin. She definitely adds something in terms of performance. Her stage presence is pretty good and she's extremely charismatic. She fits cool, elegant and bright concepts. Also, her role as the Maknae also contributes to the group's dynamic. She's a very cheerful member and IVE wouldn't be the same without her. Let's also not forget that Isa is literally the reason 11 blew up on the charts, because of her close-up shot during live performances. So as much as you all want to discredit her contribution to the group, she is definitely important in her own way. And lastly, stop comparing Isa to Eunchae. It's pointless and annoying. Just fucking stop. The reasoning behind this opinion is quite ridiculous to me. because at the end of the day, a member is still the main vocalist even if they don't have a position to confirm it, just like another member is still the main dancer even without a fixed position. I agree that some fans might feel a bit confused in the beginning when they get into the group, especially if these fans are second or third gen stans, considering groups of the previous generations almost always had fixed positions. But I don't think it really matters, because at the end of the day idols don't need a position to fit their role. I also think that even if groups had fixed positions there will still be fan wars between solo stans about who actually deserves a specific position, so it's not like fixed positions would solve anything. In the end it makes no difference whether groups have fixed positions or not. I think not having fixed positions is just an excuse to market the group as an all-rounded group and saying every member can do everything, which is not true most of the time. But I don't find the lack of fixed positions annoying at all, simply because it doesn't change the role within the group. If you're the best singer you will always be the best singer, with or without the main vocal position. Twice should have been better off with disbandment. It's funny how this opinion starts off by saying Twice are legends in K-pop. Something tells me this person doesn't actually believe that, because if you acknowledge a group as legendary, then you will never think they should disband just because they lost their hype. I do not stand Twice and I am not being biased when I say they are literally the second biggest girl group in K-pop, and they are still super relevant even if they're not charting well domestically. We shouldn't even be having this conversation. They are literally selling out stadiums and arenas for their world tour, and they're also still really loved in Korea. I'm sure many of you would kill to see your faves having the kind of longevity and relevance Twice has in the K-pop industry, so I feel like we shouldn't even be taking this opinion seriously. But unfortunately some people are literally so delusional that they think a group as relevant as Twice actually fell off just because they're not charting as well as before. By this logic every other K-pop group that doesn't reach #1 on the charts should disband, your faves included. At this point Billie feels like a Shawn and Friends group. My genuine question is, are we even listening to the same group? Because I don't see this at all. I absolutely don't feel like Billie is centered around Shawn at all. Of course, she is one of the most popular members along with Chuki and Suha, but I literally don't recall seeing Shawn getting the most lines, the most screen time and the other members getting less compared to her. You literally have Suha and Sihoon shining because of their rapping, Chuki shining because of her stage presence and also going viral for it. Then you have Haram and Suha standing out with their vocals. The only member that always gets a little less is Haruna, but I totally don't see Shawn overshadowing the others. She's a phenomenal performer but so are the other girls. I think this is a personal problem of whoever wrote the opinion, because I don't think there is anyone out there who follows Billie that could genuinely think Billie is Shawn and Friends. Okay, so these were some unpopular Reddit opinions that I wanted to discuss. Most of them were pretty delusional, at least for me, so I'm curious to hear what you guys think. Let me know down in the comments. With that being said, I hope you enjoyed this video. Bye guys.